Hey guys, welcome to Maximo's Mind of God. Thanks for stopping by. Today I wanted to do a video. I'm starting a little philosophy series, so I wanted to go ahead and do this video for you addressing the issue of time, the subject of time. I've done one before, but that was deleted, so I'm redoing this one. I'll try to make this brief as I can, so just try to follow along with me. Okay, so basically, we'll cut to the chase. There's a lot of videos out there, a lot of theories concerning time. What is time? You know, how does time work? The nature of time. So I want to go ahead and try to put this straight, share it with the world, let you understand kind of how this works. Um, there's no need for any elaborate theories once you understand this. So basically, we'll start off by understanding what time is in a physical sense. When you say the word time, what do we mean by that? What is time? And so basically, it's all you have to do is whenever you're trying to figure something out, keep it in your mind, try to examine it and look at all the aspects of it and start understanding what it is you're actually talking about. Now, as far as time goes, the first thing I'll say is that there is no such thing as an actual physical time. That's not a real substance. It's not a real shape. It's not a form. It does not exist except for as a mental construct. There is no such thing as time. The passage of time is an illusion. Okay, and I'm not going to get into like it's some kind of alternate dimension or some kind of star people fantasy thing or anything weird like that, because you don't need to go that far to understand why it doesn't exist. Basically, the first thing you have to realize is that, and this would be another video I'll do at another point, but the difference between physical reality and mental reality, there is no difference. And like I said, I'll cover that in more detail. But basically, anything you experience is mental. And you could just as well say physical, because there's really only one reality. Whatever you experience is real, it's the truth. And so if you're in a science lab and you're trying to prove something objectively, one thing that people don't pay attention to is the fact that you're actually using your senses to record data, to see data, to turn on your machines, to design your machines, to figure out the formulas for algorithms, to figure out your mathematical formulas, to collect data. Anything a human could possibly do is done mentally. In no time or place do we ever escape mentality. So whenever we talk about proving something by physical means, or even having it verified by another party, it's you never escape being in the mental realm. So you can just as well say that anything that's physical is also mental. It's one and the same thing. There is no physical objective reality and mental subjective reality. It's only one thing, because it's all done with the mind or the senses. That's it. Even when you say, but the senses require a physical world to, for example, shoot photons at us and then our mind transforms it. You don't realize that this outside world from where these photons or data is coming from, that in itself, when you think about this outside world from whence these things come, that's also a concept. It's a concept of an outside world from whence these things come, that you're never getting out of the mind. Even if you try to say that by inference, there's some outside thing that's coming in. That whole thing, saying this outside coming in, is an idea. It's still part of the mind. You never get out of that. So that's what I mean by that. So once you kind of get that, you'll realize that when you're talking about time, time only exists is a couple of things. It's either like a clock you're looking at, or it's something, a motion happening, a change. And when we think about this, I wrote some bullet points down for me to remember. Um, Time is made up of substance and motion. Okay, there is such thing as substance and there is such thing as motion, but there is no such thing as time, because to have time or an idea of time or an experience of time, you're actually having an experience of substance and motion. For example, I don't have a pendulum handy, but let's say this is a pendulum, and this is marking time, the way it goes back and forth. Okay, well, one thing you notice is that really what we actually have here is an object, which is going to be the substance. It's a plastic object. It has a visual, feel to it. It has a tactical feel to it. And whatnot. It probably has a smell to it, which I don't really need to smell this, but either way. So that's the substance part of time. There's some object that's doing something. The motion part is the actual motion, okay? But the motion is not the same as time. The motion is a mental experience. It's a conceptual experience. It's a feeling. It's a way the mind navigates. It's a feeling of motion. And there's those that argue that say, well, in order to have motion, you have to have time for this motion to take place. But that's not the way that that's wrong is because time by itself is defined as motion and substance. So you're just going in a circle. If you're saying that this requires time to happen, I'll say, well, what is time? And the only thing you'll be able to tell me is that time is the motion of a substance. Well, that's what we're talking about. The motion of the substance is real. The substance is real. The motion is real, but the time is not. Well, yeah, they say again, the motion, the substance require time. But what is time? Time is the motion and the substance. And that's why you keep going in circles. But time is literally the motion of a substance. So the only things that are real is motion and substance. They do not require time. The concept of time requires there be a substance in motion. That's what is the requirement. So time does not exist. You can just as well do anything in your calculations, anything with substance and motion, and get rid of the idea of time than the other way around. There's no way you could have an idea, concept, or experience of time if not for having substance and motion. See, time requires those, but the reverse is not true. The substance and motion do not require there to be some time somewhere, because no matter how you define time, it's still going to be substance and motion. If not, what are you talking about? If I say, okay, without using substance and motion, explain time, you won't. You can pause this video, go off and try to figure it out. There is nothing there. And even if you try to conceive of like this space-time fabric, you're conceiving it as a mental picture. And in that mental picture, it's going to require an image of substance and an image of motion, or at least an image of substance and shape. So that's still not, time is still not getting free from substance and motion. It's built upon those. So that's how I'm trying to say that time is not a real actual thing. The thing that you might ask is, well, why does it feel like things are happening, that things are transpiring? It seems like there is a time that things are moving. Well, that's the key. Since everything is a mental construct, is mental, that experience of things passing by or me talking, something happening is an experience. It's a way that the mind navigates or experiences its world. It's a feeling similar to the feeling of pain or heat. They're feelings. There's not really a tangible way to express those. You can just experience them. And time and motion is no different. It's the feeling of time, which would mean technically that none of us were ever born. Whatever age you are at as you watch this video, that's what age you are. There is no you as a baby, and there is no you as an older person. There simply is you now. So you could technically say there is no reality of you as a baby, and there is no reality as you of you as being older. So you were never born, and you would say, well, that's absurd. Well, whenever you say I was born, you got to understand that that's also a concept. When you say I was born, it triggers it's a concept of something in the past, and the past itself is happening right now. Let me explain. They say that this is the actual line of time, a picture of a line of time. This is the way we actually conceive of time. We think that, like, for instance, this is the moment that we're in right now, and this would be the past, I suppose. I'm not sure if I got this direction right, but this would be the past, and this would be the future, and we're right here, okay? So we tend to think that there's such thing as this, and that there may be something in the future. But the truth is, none of this is real, and none of this is real. Only that moment is real. And you would say, well, how can that moment be here without this behind it? Well, I mean, all I can tell you is you're here. everything is here, so you know that it can be here. It is here. You're watching this video. The moment is here. So whether we say, well, logically, well, you would need A to cause B to cause C, nature doesn't work that way. Nature doesn't need our logic or our confirmation to work. It's already working. You're already here. This is the moment, and it doesn't require any past, because where's the past? There is no past. You can try to find it. Where is it? It's not there. Where's the future? There is no future. There is only the moment. That's all that there is. And even if we were to record this and play back, for example, that I was talking in the past, we have a surveillance video showing me talking. You pay attention to when this surveillance video is existing, when it's playing. It would be playing now. And so you still would not prove a past. You would be simply playing a video in the present that you are watching that you would say is an example or evidence of a past. But it is currently happening. You would currently be watching it. So that still doesn't prove a real past. It only proves a present example of something that we will call the past. So in no way do you ever escape the moment. And the fact that we feel like this moment has size to it, like I feel like I'm talking and that I'm moving and I feel like I have size. Well, the reason why that is because when I go back to the idea of time being substance and motion, our ideas of substance have a quality called size. So this ruler has, when we view it, it seems to have a size to it, okay? So since that's the only way humans can understand a lot of things is by what they experience, we also tend to consider time as being like a physical object. It has a size. And so when I can't put into words the feeling that I am actively doing something and it seems to take up time or space, the only thing my mind can do is relate it to an object with length or size. And so I feel like time itself has a length or a size. It extends somewhere. But that's only because the only tools humans have, as I said before, are ideas of like substances and motions. And they have what we call size. So that's why we think time does that. There is no space-time continuum or anything like that. It's just the way the mind tries to put things in order. And let's see. The other thing that really gets me kind of irked or aggravated is I'm not going to mention the name of some of a popular YouTube supposedly science authority, but I'll just say there's somebody that it sounds similar to D Sauce, and this guy, and it's not just him. There's other people that have said that we actually live in the past, and they use the idea based that it takes a light time to reach our eyes time to send an impulse to our brain time to reformulate this and give us a view of existence or experience. Well, that's also false. We do not live in the past. And the reason why is because even when you're considering concepts such as a photon coming through to us or something transpiring in the mind and transforming, you're never escaping the arena of the mind. It takes you an idea of a photon coming to even say that. Like when you imagine a photon coming from somewhere, that's happening in the present. You're imagining a photon as a concept coming through the air. You're imagining that now. Now I imagine this concept. And then when I say, but then it does something in the brain, I'm imagining it now. I'm in the moment. There is no past. There is no future. So no matter what concept you try to form, like there's a photon, you're just going back to substance, saying that there's a photon from the sun, for example, coming to this ruler and then flying over here to the eye. And so all of this takes space. Well, you're saying it takes time, but really what the mind's doing is acting like it takes space to reach the brain. Then it transforms again. Then you experience reality. But you see, you never escape the moment. Everything that we just imagined, all this logic we just did happened now. And once it's happening right now, there is no past or future. It's just right now. So there's no way we live in the past. The only way that even makes sense is if you're relying on logic to understand the concept. You're trying to understand the concept of how light hits something and goes somewhere. But in all of this, you never leave the present moment. That's the only thing that's real. So we do not live in the past, because the past would be, first you would have to show me the past. It's impossible to show the past because it does not exist. You could show you could show me a recording or an electron on a plate, the tracks an electron makes on a plate as evidence of a past, But when would you be showing it to me? You'd be showing it to me now. You would never get rid of the now. You cannot be in the past to prove a past or prove a future. So we do not live in the past. That only works on a higher, more superficial level. That only works in the regular thinking of science where you're using logic to understand these ideas. That is not the truth. That is just how we tend to use cause and effect and conceive these things. So we do not live in the past. That's not true. So I just wanted to go over that. I think I covered everything. Time is actually consistent of substance and motion, and it requires those because that's what it is. Substance and motion do not require time. Time does not exist. There is no past. There is no future. There's only the moment. We do not therefore live in the past. And the reason time feels like it has size or length is because we relate it to other objects such as substances that have length. So that's the truth about time. It's hard to get at first because we're used to living in a way where there's the way we think of time. But if you would stop and meditate a little bit on this, you would realize there is no time. There is no past. There is only now. And so in a way that's really, it's really amazing that we can seem to think all these things like the size of existence, the size of reality, the time of everything, when really it's all confined to one eternal moment. And that's all there is. And if you could ever get your mind around that, it really will open your eyes. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment. And like I said, come back and have another video for you eventually. See you soon. Bye.